Alright, so it's official. Yeah. September 4th, the courthouse has received my request to reimburse the defendant the, I guess, balance owed. And you see here where I was originally ordered $1,650. I've been ordered to pay $1,013. Oh my gosh. It's not my imagination. I definitely got screwed over. But okay, I did it. I paid the $873 in the courtroom when I threw it at her. And this, of course, is the check for $140 plus $20, so $160. And I made sure to make a notation as to why it exists. Plaintiff was the ordered reimbursement to the defendant of $888 plus 80 cents plus $125 overdraft fee. Plaintiff was not entitled to collect cost after judgment or 10% interest. Commissioner Julia Snyder ordered plaintiff to reimburse defendant. And so it's actually technically the debtor's request. This is a request to pay judgment as if I, were the defendant and had to pay the plaintiff. But see, right here, unpaid principal costs. That's what I was not entitled to, which is papers, pens, ink, whatever. Post-judgment cost. Credits to whatever, interest accrued to date from date of judgment. I was entitled to that. But okay. And then I just wrote other, because it's the ordered reimbursement. At this point in time, there is no legitimate legal excuse for Crosnoe to demand I come into that courtroom again. There is nothing there that they can drag me in on. So hopefully the case is over with. Hopefully. And yes, I am going to file the complaint with the Judiciary Committee because I was entitled to cost after judgment. Every plaintiff is. I was entitled to that 10% interest over 7 years of financing the debtor. Every plaintiff is. But me, for whatever reason, Commissioner Julia Snyder determined I was not entitled. It's only money, so I can laugh now, and I've paid it off. But it really was 7 years in vain, because had I not won, I'd only be out $40, the filing fee. But because I won, I, invested 7 years of my life trying to make Linda Crosnoe pay off that debt. And ended up, she destroyed more fences, more cameras. Yeah, I had to get a restraining order against this person. But at least, I can definitely walk with my head high knowing that Commissioner Julia Snyder, you screwed me over. You threw me under the bus rather than admit the mistakes that were made in your courtroom under your direction. And by you personally. So, what are you going to drag me into the courtroom for now? It was, after all, just a small claims case. And your sole purpose in this, overseeing the small claims collections aspect, was to go to bat for me. You were to try and get that money from the judgment debtor for me. You were to assist me in holding the judgment debtor accountable. But somehow you turned it all around for whatever reason and decided that I was the judgment debtor. And I did nothing illegal, nothing wrong. So, yeah, I'm walking with my head high knowing that I paid off the debt that you claim I owed, and you claim that I was not entitled to. I still can't get over that part. Yeah, the money that I had to reimburse the poor defendant is the exact amount of money that I had to pay the courthouse, the filing fees, the sheriff fees. But, and you know, the defendant, fortunately, she didn't have to pay any fees because all her fees were waived. But I really, truly, you know, could have saved us all a lot of headache if you just had me pay her the money directly, the court fees. Because, you know, I've not... Yeah, listen to the Crosnoe Circus laughter. Yeah, flying monkey John, head thing Linda, laughing away. So yeah, the tenant in the back there deliberately shining the strobe light into my security camera again. They have a thing about shining lights into my camera or trying to disable that camera. Yeah. I'm still dealing with the Crosnoe Circus in spite of having a restraining order in place. And in spite of removing that lien, in spite of reimbursing the money to Crosnoe that the judge ordered me to reimburse. And, you know, somehow, some way, they just don't have a reason to, or incentive, I should say, to just leave me alone. Nope, they're still hell-bent, so I obviously got to just keep my eyes peeled, and any violations that occur, definitely going to hand it over to the police department. I just got back from the Simi Police Department. I had to show them, of course, some videos regarding that spotlight, strobe light situation being shined into my camera. And remind them that that restraining order, you know, it applies to everybody. And for whatever reason, the tenants feel it doesn't apply to them. But, yeah, the courthouse confirmed it is a zero contact, no contact whatsoever restraining order. That means her friends, family, tenants, nobody associated with her can contact me, harass me, annoy me, destroy my property, try to email me, call, whatever, you know, leave rude comments on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Can't be done. And if she doesn't tell them that, then, you know, obviously they feel they can, but she will be the one held responsible for the violation of that restraining order. I was also told to still get one against John Matson, since clearly he has a different address and he has his own issues with me for whatever reason. So, yeah, but I'll deal with that later. But in the meantime, I need to enforce this restraining order against the tenants who clearly feel that it doesn't apply to them. And hopefully the police will explain it to them later tonight. And until I do get, you know, a separate restraining order for John Matson, the restraining order I currently have against Linda Crosnoe still applies to him because he is her favorite flying monkey. And, you know, he's over there all the time. So, you know, if he does anything on behalf of her over there, anything on that fence, they're not supposed to be touching that fence. They're not supposed to come within 9 feet of that fence. I'm not standing there with a, you know, a ruler, a tape measure, but clearly they do not want to honor that restraining order, so it needs to be enforced. So I'm doing what I can to get it enforced, or at least make sure that they're aware of the fact that it is definitely enforceable. Yeah, that's what I'm dealing with. Okay, so the officer just left, and he walked with me alongside here where the cameras are that's being affected by the light, infrared stuff, whatever it is. It's a laser strobe. I don't know. I just know it really is damaging to that camera. But it violates the restraining order. So he took pictures also of the camera that they have pointed directly at a bedroom window here. And I showed him, you know, the comments that I've been getting on YouTube, etc. And on X and, you know, Facebook. And I showed John and Kim and Adam trolling in front of this house at midnight and screaming obscenities. And so, yeah, he gave me a link. I'm going to send him the videos on that link, and then he's, I guess, going to submit it to the DA again. Okay, it's September the 5th. I just got the audio from 8:26, where Commissioner Julia Snyder basically just for no reason at all to me.
The court on this situation, obviously.
So I have to address the court.
It's been 7 years that I've been trying to get $1,500. It's the hardest $1,500 I have ever earned.
So yeah, I'm going to be uploading this.
The sheriff seized.
It's like 40 minutes long, so. But I have a copy of what was said, and that's all that really matters here. And it was worth paying for it.
The clerks were never notified to cancel that writ, so it expired naturally. I had been accused by you from the beginning of me trying to collect money from this person who wrongfully destroyed my property. I had 3 judges rule in my favor. I currently have a restraining order against this person because even though you thought it was irrelevant that she was still destroying my property at the time I tried to end that contract, the judge in the Ventura County thought it was very relevant that she was still destroying my property and issued a permanent restraining order against her. Now, you also accuse me, aside from doing a bait and switch, you accuse me of intentionally omitting that the sheriff had seized that $888. I didn't omit anything. The defendant clearly notified you. I had, before the 311 hearing, where my lawyer had to come in because, as usual, as a rule, I'm not allowed to speak. Today I am. Thank you. Ms. Crosnoe states it right here that I had taken $888, or the sheriff had taken $888 out of her checking account. It wasn't my responsibility to remind you to address that. I didn't omit anything. I knew the sheriff because we were both notified on 2/24 that they had seized $888 out of her checking account. And that they had told her, like they told her with the first time when she was granted that exemption, that she had 15 days to file another claim of exemption. She chose to instead ask you for a court order and answer. And so we had the 311 court date. And the premise for that court date was because the sheriff had seized $888. And that was never addressed at the 311 court date. Again, my lawyer was on the phone with you, so I wasn't really doing much of the talking at that time. He was aware of it, but he does have it listed right here in this
was not allowed to show.
It was submitted for the 311 opposition declaration, and like I said, so I did not intentionally omit that the sheriff had seized 888. The clerks, I did not do a bait and switch on you. That money that I received is due to cost after judgment and interest, and though you state that I'm not allowed or I'm not entitled to cost after judgment, the law clearly states I am entitled to cost after judgment because it's the fees I have paid to the Ventura County Courthouse. All her fees are waived. None of mine were. So that first time when you denied me the driver's license, to see her driver's license at the debtor's hearing, that cost me $160. When I tried to end that contract, due to breach of contract, and he thought it was irrelevant that she was still destroying my property, that cost me $180. The sheriff fees and filing fees. That opposition cost me $160 for sheriff fees.
At least I got it all on record.
So the sheriff,
Yeah, little dickheads at it again. So definitely gotta be sending this to the police department too. Seriously, there is absolutely zero reason for these tenants to be harassing me. I've done nothing to them. But yeah, for whatever reason, yeah, they're harassing me and online, and I had to turn off my alarm just because I don't want to bother the whole neighborhood because my neighbors feel like messing with me. It's like I said, clearly they all have some kind of a mental problem over there. Yep, here we go again. All right, so it's September the 7th. It's the 6th night in a row now that my neighbor, her tenants, Kim and the kid, Adam, have chosen to intentionally be a menace, try to irritate me, harass me, they're technically stalking me with their light into my security system. So, yeah, the police are on their way again. Okay, so the officers were here and now they're over there. I don't know if it's going to help, but they said they're going to, let them know they got to turn it out. Okay, so I got to make a sign, right? So I made this sign. No trespassing. Stay away from my fence. The restraining order prohibits anyone from 1493 Sorrel Street to have any contact with the fence belonging to 1590 Blaze Avenue, the entire length of the fence, front yard, side, and back. Simi police have notified you of the restraining order. Please stop the harassment. So I'm going to go put it up on the fence, right where he shines that light, so the light will light up the sign, right? But, yeah, for whatever reason, the restraining order seems to have made them angrier. And so, yeah. Guess I had to put some signs back. All right, signs are back up. And, of course, I noticed they dug all the way, as you can see, my backyard fence, the retaining wall. They dug a hole there. Now it's completely exposed. And this is what's happening on my retaining wall here. Yep. obsessed with my fence, but can't do shit about their own yard. Whew, it's definitely hot out there today, like 108. Yeah, but I got to get those signs up. And as I was out there putting those signs up, of course, I see in the corner of my eye the Crosnoe Circus flying monkey, or favorite clown. I don't know what his title actually is, but John Madsen, yeah. So he was out there watching me, and I just didn't, acknowledge his presence, walked away. But it's amazing how much effort I've had to put into protecting the fence, the property, to put up with, just all the harassment. Living next to the Crosnoe Circus. Never a dull moment. Okay, so tonight I'll see if that light that's being aimed towards that sign lights up the sign instead of the camera. Yeah, and the alarm on the fence. I just need to quiet down that fence a little bit. But yeah, it'll probably be a little halo around it. I think where I placed it, it should be effective. We'll see. I just had to call the police again. The mother of one of the gals that are leaving me rude comments on YouTube on my doorstep screaming. So yeah, had to call the police. Okay, so there you have it, incident number 5. And the officer came back and let me know that he did make contact with Miss Crosnoe and let her know that, she needs to tell her friend not to come over here anymore. So, yeah, it's just insane. The lien has been removed from the house. Money's been paid. I had to reimburse, even though I shouldn't have had to reimburse. And people are attacking me online on her behalf for whatever reason, because I have the restraining order against her. And yet it just won't stop. I don't know how to make it stop, I'm doing every hoop that I got to jump through, and somehow people are still attacking me on her behalf. Yeah, the Crosnoe Circus has a lot of clowns, a lot of flying monkeys. They all think I'm the bitch because I needed a restraining order against her. Yeah. I've never needed a restraining order against anybody, but my neighbor I needed one against. And now you know why. I just think it's crazy I even needed a restraining order against my neighbor. Yeah, the neighbor from hell. You just never know which clown you'll see or what act you'll get to entail when you go to the Crosnoe Circus.